How many leads your CRM in the last 12 months swallowed that you never followed up on the past touch tree?
And the reason is you might not be lazy. It isn't that you don't care. It isn't that you're a bad agent. What if nobody anywhere actually taught you what to say on touch 4, touch 7, touch 14, touch 21? So in the next 10 minutes, we're going to show you exactly how we plugged Claude AI into our BoldTrail, which used to be KVCore, and turned every single cold lead into the database into a 30-day, 7-touch at least nurture system where every message has at least some value beyond just checking in.
Exactly. Therefore, my wife jumped into the BoldTrail, but that is our CRM in eXp Realty that we use. Therefore, we are going to walk you through the cloud codes inside of the CRM, that how you can keep the whole thing TCPA clean, which is you need to go with the whatever the calling of the law is, which is the most part important that you need to take care of. And AI lead tools get dangerously wrong if you don't use that kind of TCPA that we were talking about.
Now, a live 7-touch generation of real style variants for past clients, open house attendees, the one-of-a-kind leads that you've never touched for whatever reason. It's the fastest way to kill your business if you're not doing it correctly. So stick around, because in 2 minutes, we're going to talk about ways you can actually grow your business. Amazing. Now, first, let's go who we are. We're Alan Victoria, Icon Agent EXP. We use BoldTrail. KVCore used to be as our CRM, and that is our next video on how we really plug cloud into our CRM and BoldTrail in detail. But we're very hard workers. We're workhorses. That's why we're Icon agents. But at the same token, every agent has a ceiling for how many clients you can actually lead. And the usual ceiling for most agents is 3.
Exactly. Therefore, let's talk about day 0. For example,
everyone has a follow-up plan, but then what happens is we lose our follow-up plan. This is very normal.
Exactly. For example, we were talking about the beginning of video about touch 3. Day 0. Thanks for reaching out. Here's what you asked for. Day 1. Did you get a chance to look what I sent you? And day 3. Happy to hop on a call, and then crickets.
Right, we run out of things to say and the lead goes cold, and it's not that we're not taking it seriously, because after years and years of running our business and being Icon agent, cold doesn't mean dead. Cold means we lost a way to communicate with that client. And one time more, a well-timed lead, useful contact, you can actually close 1 or 2 more deals every single time. So the agent who gets to touch 4 and beyond typically have the wins every single time, and that's really why we've connected cloud into our BoldTrail. So you have at least a 30-day cadence, 30 days of 7 touches. And it's not just never checking in, it's not circling back, and it's never missing a blast email. So before we get into all that, we have to talk about consent.
Exactly. Before we show you the generator, we need to spend 2 minutes on consent, because this is the part the shiny AI tools on Instagram don't tell you about. When we built this into the cloud, the first rule that I give, it was this: if you don't know whether the lead gave the consent to be contacted by text, you refuse to generate the cadence.
Well, I want to also point out, we do not buy leads from cold leads. We don't scrape the internet. We're not doing any of the scraping. So all of our leads actually come from our own advertising, which means they have given consent. But if we did, for whatever reason, have somebody who did something wrong and all that information is in my BoldTrail, we are not going to communicate with this person, because again, I'm not going to break the law. Now, this is also a huge problem, and maybe I overstepped it, and that's why we come into play with why TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, treats an SAS as a contact who hasn't given you express remittance to have a violation.
Exactly. Therefore, inside of the BoldTrail,
statutory damages are $500 per tax and go up from there. Mass blast of 200 in email, and the math gets ugly fast. Yes, inside.
Inside of the BoldTrail, our cloud integration basically checks the lead source field before it does anything else. And if the lead came in through one of our IDX form, for example, a landing page or open house sign-in, where consent language was on the form, the skills basically see the green flag and goes to work right away.
And if the lead came from a bot list or scratch sort, which we don't use, the consent would be unknown and Cloud will then refuse, again following my orders, or it will just draft a reconsent email asking the person to opt in, which is something I never actually did, so it's already stepping up for me because I would have just ignored him. He's saying, hey, we can send a consent email. But if this is the only email you have, and if they say yes, great. But I'd rather lose contact with somebody than lose my license, which is why I had that hard role. And so this is a skill. Now we're going to talk about a little bit more of the fun stuff, which is the follow-up, which is what we are here for.
Follow-up. Okay. Let's example how Cloud basically can follow up based on your rules. And we are pulling a lead, for example, from our CRM, which we are using, me and my wife, BoldTrail, which we run the Facebook ad opt-in looking in the mid 300.
No, this is the lead itself. Say they came from a Facebook ad that they opted in.
Yeah, exactly.
We know they're looking about the 300,000 and their first-time buyer because this is the ad they clicked on. And now we know, that's what we know about them thus far. That's the ad they clicked on.
And real common profile across pretty much any market in the country. And basically, we tag the lead, hit my Cloud action, and ask for third day nurture cadence. And about 90 seconds later, here's what it comes back.
Again, yours might be a little different. This is just our best practices. Day one, within the hour of this person hitting our list.
Or day zero.
Day zero. They click the ad within the hour. Welcome message from us, text message, acknowledging a relocation move potential, offering 3 active homes in the area that match their criteria that they clicked on. These are real homes so she can actually buy, not just PDF.
Exactly. Day one, basically they send email. Subject line is a question, not a pitch. Body is one paragraph about what relocating home buyers usually want to know that nobody tells them. And basically commute patterns, what closing typically looks like for the out of state home buyers, who pays for what at the table, ends with a very one soft call to action.
Now again, at this point, you've probably clicked into your BoldTrail. It's been more than 24 hours. This person is now in there. You can now we can go into our BoldTrail. You can click the Facebook enrichment. You can click the Google enrichment. You can see what information is publicly available that's in our BoldTrail, and you can add that to your notes. Now Cloud is smarter as well because now we have a little bit more information. Maybe we now know that this person is a nurse. We know a little bit more about this person. So on day 3, when the next text is going in, you've already given it more data. So it's giving data on the actual market, what these people might be looking for a little bit more in detail because you now know. And then the home study I sent you out 2 days ago, want to see a showing? Would you want me to do a video tour? Something specific and useful if they're out of state. So it's really just checking for them. What else?
Now on day 7, again, we send basically Cloud send an email, a buyer side resource that we actually wrote, a one-page how, for example, our earnest money works for out-of-state home buyers, and wiring fraud helps them even if they are not working with us. That is the point.
Day 14, maybe they're getting another text message. New listing alert, handpicked from BoldTrail, save search matches. And a one-line note in my voice that I've trained, saying this model might be exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. Day 21, which is week 3, and sending an email with the genuine housing market update, what closed in her price point, and in the last 30 days and average days on the market, and what it means for her timing about the numbers and non-adjectives.
And day 30, maybe you have, this is the timing isn't right, we can pause everything, maybe you're buying the home in 3 months, how can we help you, when do you think you're going to come? So maybe this is what there. But this one matters. The off branch is going to feel like a human and not automated. And it really kind of going towards, again, the more information you get about the person, the more precise it can be. Now, people really appreciate being named and called out and being given the options. So 7 days, 30 touches, generated in 90 seconds from you just putting in there. And you have information. So it's not just, are you checking in? It's not just variance. It's really your whole cadence isn't really just a smart campaign anymore, because now it's beyond the smart campaigns. It is based on who they are and what they are looking for in details that you could never set with the setup pre-programmed smart campaign.
Now we wanted to talk about variance. And that was the buyer flow. The skill has 3 more variants and 1 hard refusal. For example, the past client win back, different cadence entirely, longer runaway, 60 days, 4 touches, and anchored to the anniversary of their closing when they close the house with us.
The value add is the home value report that you run for them, or referral pitch, asking it how a friend would ask, not the way you would ask as a salesperson. Maybe it's another one. Maybe he knows this person came from an open house. 48 hours, twice data, and 0, thank you for the listing. Here's the listing. Here's the disclosures. Maybe day 1, they're getting a personal note saying, we talk about the house. There's a short note on the open house. Claude reminds them. 3 shorts for an invite to see something else. Sphere of influence is another one, quarterly, 12 touches, once a month, all generally useful. Market snapshot, a hello market with nothing attached. Recommendations of places that you would recommend. And this is a cadence that can fill out your pipeline for years, and you're not writing it anymore. Claude is writing it. You're just kind of making sure it's following track. And the ones that I would never send on, the cold purchase leads, they never gave consent. I wouldn't touch that. But if they suddenly start giving me consent, well, then now I have an amazing opportunity that I didn't have before because I wasn't even asking that question.
Exactly. And if you bought a list and you wanted to reach those people, you have to send a manual reconsent message yourself and get an opt-in. And the only then can be Cadence engines that we talk can kick in, and that is not a limitation really.
So next one we're going to talk about is our CMA in a little bit more in detail, and we're really going to bring up, we're going to do comps, and we're also going to do a video on really how we set up BoldTrail and how this really works in detail. So 2 amazing videos coming up, and I can't wait to talk to you all about that. We're the Prosperity Agent. We give all of our training absolutely free to everybody who joins us at EXP. So we're so excited if you want to click the Calendly link and book an appointment with me, because I can talk to you about Claude all day, every day.
See you next time.